Okay, we're rolling. Hey, this is Darren,
I'm Noah.
and we are starting a new podcast. This is sort of the maiden voyage of our new podcast. It's entitled Third Floor Theatrics. Spelled that wrong, I'm sure. And we'll probably get into the meaning of that name later on. I think people who know us closely will know exactly what that means. We're coming to you from Studio 26 in the wilds of southern Indiana.
Yep, undisclosed location.
Secret,
Nobody can know.
That's right. Secret locale. No one can know where we are. Beautiful studio. It's a brand new podcast, and we're going to sort of cover just about everything. I think we're gonna talk about fun stuff and maybe a little serious stuff. Not too serious. I think we just want to have fun with this. It's kind of the purpose.
Yeah, it just gives us something to do, and if people enjoy listening to it, then that's just a bonus.
And hopefully within 6 months we'll have 9 million listeners. It'd be great.
Yeah, this will be our full-time job. We can leave the job we're at now, like we've been wanting to for God knows how long. But
Yeah, so we hope it's successful, but I think the biggest thing is just to have fun and just to it's a conversation piece. It's sort of like we're two friends talking, and we hope that people who listen in will feel the same way, that they're part of a friendship kind of thing, and they're listening in, and it's like, oh, it's those guys again. Wonder what they're talking about today. It's so
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think we can come up with some really good topics to talk about. We're gonna try and plan on doing about 2 topics per episode, and might do like some little segments and stuff in between. But I think for the first part of this podcast, we're just kind of going to talk about like who we are and just more about the podcast in general.
right. So with that being said, do you want to kind of give some background of yourself first? Do you want me to go first, or?
You can go first.
So I am an artist by nature. I've always been an artist, and I've been involved with music and film, and I'm currently involved with all that kind of stuff. So anything creative and is my thing. I've been doing that since I was 5, and I met Noah at the current day job that we both have, and we're vastly different in age. That's to say the least. But yeah, my background's in art, creative things, and just being productive, and this podcast kind of goes along with that. Because there is an element of creativity with this, and so he approached me with the idea to do a podcast, and it was pretty quick. He was like, yeah, let's do it. So our biggest hurdle has been technical issues, but that's I think that goes along with it, because like I said, I'm not real technically inclined, so I was kind of like, okay, set it up and let's do it,
Mm-hmm.
But so go ahead, give a little bit of yourself.
Well, my name's Noah. I'm not the most interesting person. I'm a pretty big introvert. I like to stay home. I'm a big neat freak. My house is always spotless, and I have a cat. She's pretty cool. Makes me sound lame, but oh well. She's a good cat though. Can't beat it. But yeah, I approached Darren with this idea because me and him we're big talkers, to each other at least. Outside of him, I don't talk a whole lot to other people, but
And I talk to everybody a lot.
yeah,
So.
Darren can have a conversation with a wall.
Yeah,
So
I see somebody,
I thought it was a good idea.
I see somebody, and it's like, hey, and we start talking, and there's usually some common interest, it's like movies or music or travel or something, and then it just sparks it, and before you know it, 30 minutes just went by. So
Yeah, and that's how it was like when I first met you where we worked. We pretty much sparked a conversation up, and it lasted for a while, and that was the first time we met, and that's kind of hard to do with some people. But yeah, like I'm not artistically inclined or anything like Darren. I'm more like a perfectionist, and things have to be in order.
your sort of creativity comes with cooking, I'd say.
Yeah, I really like to cook. That's one of the hobbies I like to do a lot. I don't get to cook as much as I want to anymore, but there's definitely things that I still want to try. And I've always thought about maybe just going into culinary school just to learn more and not actually be in a restaurant. Um, and the thing is, like where we're from and everything, it's pretty hard to get a restaurant going, let alone one with like an actual chef and have fancy food and all that stuff.
Because we are in the wilds of
Yeah,
southern Indiana.
the boondocks.
That's right.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add, or
Um,
I think
you
we
know,
kind of touched the basis
yeah, I
on?
mean that's kind of a quick overview of ourselves. Yeah, like I said, I think that you know overall this is just going to be one of those kind of things where people will tune in hopefully and just be entertained and have a it, I want to keep it fairly lighthearted. We don't want to get into too much serious stuff. I mean, there'll be probably topics that will be a little more serious, but um, there is a place for entertainment, and there is a place for just sort of enjoying things and not being brought, because the news is crappy most of the time.
Yeah,
So
and especially with the last 2 years, I feel like there's been so much negativity and all that stuff. So I
right,
think having something like this
right.
will just be something fun for us to do, and hopefully people who listen, they'll get a kick out of it too.
Right. And I think, like you said earlier, I believe is we'll probably have maybe two subjects per episode.
Hmm.
We'll break it down and do a 60-minute show, 30 minutes per topic. That's sort of the plans that we have. I mean, that could change down the
Yeah.
road, but that's sort of what we're looking at this point. So
Hmm. Yeah, and I think one of the first topics we're going to talk about is the importance of friendship. And I think me and Darren have a lot of good views and opposing views on it, and hearing it from both sides with people from
friends are horrible.
yeah, people from two drastically different age groups comparing their thoughts. So I think that'll,
Drastically
yeah.
different.
Do you want to tell them how old? Or
Uh, well, we just put it this way. We'll just leave it a mystery. I don't know why we'll leave it a mystery. It's not a big deal, but I'm old enough to be your dad, so
well, you are older than my dad,
that's right. I'm older than his dad.
so we'll just leave it there.
We'll
For
leave it
now.
there for now. Yeah. So, do you want to delve into that? Do you want to go ahead and delve into the sort of the topic a little bit of the whole friendship thing, or sort of you want to go ahead and go into that now, or
Yeah, we can go ahead and start that.
so the fine art of friendship, we'll call it. Um, yeah, I think my personal sort of outlook on that or view on that is I think, and this is just like I said, some people may not just not agree with this or whatever. I think the older you get, and I am older than you, remember, so I think that the older you get, I think friends are sort of more important. Because when you're a kid, your parents are sort of your main fallback on everything. You've got it's good to have friends when you're a little kid, you're in school and you have sports and all that, but you fall back on your parents. When you're older, um, when life really starts has the potential to kick you in the butt. When you go through financial troubles or marital troubles, people get divorced, or you start losing family members and grandparents start passing away, and at some point, unfortunately, parents start passing away. I think you really need friends to sort of fall back on, and not necessarily family either. I mean, siblings are great,
Hmm.
but to have somebody that's sort of outside of the family that's just that you're really tight with, um, I think you can't put a price on that. I think that like I said, when you go through stuff in life older, you don't really fall back on your parents like you did when you were a kid. So I think having really tight friends when you're older is probably more important. And you don't have to be one of these popular people that have like, oh, I've got 90,000 friends. You just need a couple really tight, close friends that you can rely on. I mean, that's I just feel that the older you get, friends become more important.
Yeah, I think growing up, friends are really important too, because like you can have the best parents who try and raise you the best, but I think in a lot of cases, depending on who you're spending like your social time with, that has a real big impact on kind of how you become and like what your morals do, because you see like kids growing up like in a rough,
Family.
yeah, like a, well, not even really a rough family, but like their family could be good, but if they're out doing certain things with their friends who influence them, because I think when you're younger, your friends influence you more than your parents, because you want to fit in and
Right.
everything like
Right.
that. And a lot of kids don't think their parents are cool, so they want to do the cool thing and do whatever their friends are doing. So
Rob a bank or
yeah,
whatever it is.
hijack a car,
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. How when you're older, family doesn't, you don't fall back on them, and
Right.
there's definitely people that do, but you got to
And
realize
those
they're not going
and
to be
they're
around.
weirdos.
Yeah,
So
they're not going to be around forever. So
well, I think for me, and I'm speak. The reason I say that the reason I have this view on it is for me personally. I was, I got to a point when I was probably in high school. It wasn't so much in grade school, but it was probably high school. I became kind of a loner. And I know that's hard to believe because I'm so friggin' cool now. But, I sort of became a loner. And so I didn't have I had a couple friends that were fairly good. Um, but I wasn't a partier either. So a lot of these guys in high school were out partying, and so I just got left sort of like, okay, Darren's not a partier, so we're just going to leave him. We're not going to invite him. So I was home a lot,
yeah,
and I didn't really have the. Now that I'm older, I have probably more friends now that I can rely on, like a tight group, a
hmm
small group of friends that if I would need something, I could call them and they, they would be there. So for me, I look at it from that viewpoint as just a personal thing. Like I said, because I was sort of this weird teenager and didn't really fit in and that wasn't doing a lot of the stuff they were doing. So I think I got my close friends later in life, later, like I said, when I was an adult, more so than when I was a kid.
yeah. I had a pretty good group of friends in high school, and we keep in touch somewhat now. But like just growing up and everything, we all kind of went on different paths, and with school and like how we live our lives and everything. And I kind of faded out of the group more than anyone. And for a while there, I didn't really, other than the girlfriend that I had at the time, I really didn't have any
And now you've become the
friends.
loner.
Yeah, now I'm the loner. But I've met some really good friends through work, and it's kind of brought me out of my shell more, because there for a while I really didn't do a whole lot. But in high school, when like you're kind of forced to be around people, you don't really have a choice a lot of times.
Right.
But me and my friends in high school, we would do stuff all the time, but we had like common interests. Like I've never been to a party or anything like that, and me and my friends, we didn't go out and party. A lot of times we'd just go find something to do in Vincennes, or we'd just play Xbox. We'd get home and talk over our mics and do that all day, and that was a blast. It was just doing something fun that we enjoyed and doing it together. And we don't do that now, but I'll hang out with Darren, or just, I enjoy a lot of alone time as
But
well.
hang out with me is what you're saying.
Yeah. But
I'm in the room. Don't forget that.
yeah, but now like it doesn't matter to me as much. Like I'm okay with having alone time, like putting a movie on and just enjoying the peace and quiet and not having to worry about things for a while.
Yeah. So I would say probably what your listeners are taking from this is that we're both sort of, and what's the word? We're
Outcasts.
outcasts from society. So yeah, that's what. If you're getting that at home, that we're outcasts from society, you're probably partially correct. I don't know. No, yeah. I mean, I think and there's people that think that they have 200 great friends, and I hate to spoil it for them, but they probably don't. I mean, people, it's almost like a popularity contest, and I think I don't know if this is a younger thing or if it's maybe people just in general feel like they're popular or they have to be popular. If they had to have all these friends, and the reality is that most of those people are acquaintances. I wouldn't say they're tight friends. And
Yeah.
the Facebook phenomenon, is like, well, I've got 5,000 Facebook friends, but you don't. How many of those people do you know?
Yeah, like do you actually have like a solid relationship with those 5,000
And
people?
most people don't.
And I feel like you couldn't have a real solid relationship with more than, I don't even know. It wouldn't be a ton, because to have a real solid relationship, you have to make time for that person.
Right.
Like you have to
Right.
hang out and have good conversations and everything. And if you, there's a point where you can't do that with a certain amount of people.
Right. And and then too, when you do get older, there still is the even to have a select group of friends, like like whether it's three or four or just really tight friends. When you get older and people start getting married, start having kids or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you have to still sort of make time for your friends. I think that's why a lot of guys um, go hunting or go fishing or whatever it is they do, stuff that I have no interest in whatsoever because I'm a weirdo. But that, so I think you still have to maintain. There's a balance there when you get older, especially though. If you're a married person and you have a spouse and kids and a house and all that stuff that goes along with it, it is hard to maintain. So if, like I say, if you have a few just really tight friends that are solid friends, solid people, um, it's probably easier to maintain a small group than say, oh, I've got all these friends and we're all tight, and you don't have the time for that.
No,
You don't
yeah,
have
and
the
like you said,
time.
especially when you have a family. And there's some people that when they start their family, that's pretty much all they have. They don't have a real close group of friends. And
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's been weird for me seeing the people that I grew up with now, and they're starting a family, and like I couldn't imagine doing that right now. Like, so it's just a weird feeling seeing the people that you grew up with start something that big.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's I know that there was a period of time years and years ago before you were born, I'm sure. When I had some really tight friends. We were out of high school, and we there was about three or four of us. We call it the brotherhood. And there was like three or four of us. And we always hung out. And one guy had an apartment. We would always hang out there. And the guy that had the apartment gave me and another guy, Jerry, gave us keys. And so he said, "Hey, just come here, hang out, whatever you want." And that lasted for about 2 years tops. And then the guy Fred, who had the apartment, his girlfriend moved in. Well, then that kind of put the brakes on us just stopping in whenever we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else started getting their own house or getting married or having kids. So it just it came to an end pretty quick. I mean, and then there are people, you got these people that never get married, that just sort of just seem to always run around with their friends. It's just what's what they do. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a personal choice. I
Yeah,
mean, I
for
don't
sure.
think we're not here to tell anybody what they're doing is wrong or how to do it right. Because a lot of people would probably look at us and go, "You guys are losers. You guys are."
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? Oh, giving us advice. So we're not trying to give anybody advice here. And I think that kind of speaks also to the bigger theme of the podcast. We're really not trying to give people advice. We're just trying to say, hey, here's a conversation. Listen in and
See what you think.
see what you think and enjoy it. We hope you enjoy it. And you know, we might give personal stories, but we're not telling you that that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
We're just, but yeah. So
Yeah, like I'm guilty of, like, whenever, like you said, when your friend got a girlfriend and everybody just kind of stopped going to the apartment and everything. I'm guilty of that, because my friends would always stop by in my apartment and we'd hang out and everything. But then once I got a girlfriend, that kind of slowed down, and I didn't see him near as much because I spent a lot of time with who I was with.
right. I think there's the sitcom version that's not real of people. You see sitcoms or everybody's hanging out, and the friends are always over at the house, and the friends are always doing stuff, and hey, friends come over, and for me personally, that's never really been the case. But I'm kind of like you. When I'm home, um, I just like being home and don't necessarily need a bunch of people there. Or
Yeah.
it's kind of private time and downtime, and
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I like hanging out with people and all that stuff, but me being so introverted and a homebody, like a lot of times, like leading up to whatever we're going to be doing, I'll kind of dread it and think like, oh, I really don't want to do this. I'd rather just stay home. But
I think you could be one of these guys that lives in the mountains with nobody,
yeah, have you ever heard of cabin fever?
like the movie or the.
Well, like the
Oh
syndrome.
yeah,
I don't think I could get that. Like if I had the
you
stuff I
say
wanted,
that. You say that.
see, like when I really think about it, knowing myself, like I think I would be fine. I think I could stay in a
Secluded somewhere.
yeah, like in my apartment now, like I have everything I need. I'd have to get like food and stuff, obviously, but I think I could stay here for a really long time without having to go anywhere. Like I've always wanted to like have a job where I could work from home
Yeah, I mean
because
that there's some perks to that for sure. I think I'm that way to a point. Like, I like to sort of be like if I'm off for an extended period of time, there's like days when I just want to stay home, do my
mhm,
thing. I usually have a list of things that I either want to do or need to do. Sometimes it's just stuff I want to do. It's not necessarily stuff I need to do. Um but there's always like one, like if I'm off for a stretch, there's always one day there that I want to go do something, whether it's just go shopping or.
mhm,
But then I have other projects with film stuff, so there's times that I want to get out and meet up and work on stuff. But I kind of see, I kind of see the where you're coming from, being kind of by yourself and stuff.
mhm.
But I don't know that a person could do that without going nuts.
Well, I'd like to find out. I think I could do it.
So you're one of these guys. You're gonna like it is like a social experiment. You're gonna lock yourself in your
Yeah,
apartment.
have someone drop me off food.
Yeah, and you've lost your job now because you didn't go in.
I'll have a work from home job, so
Yeah, well, maybe the podcast will be huge, and
we can do it virtually
we'll just yeah,
instead
I'll
of in
have to
person.
do it
No
from a
human interaction.
remote location and call in and
Hmm.
um,
I think that'd be like an actually cool experiment to see like how long.
people go nuts doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, certain people do, and I think a lot of people would, but I think there's people like me out there that really enjoy staying home, and I honestly wonder how long I could
This is
do it.
a little tidbit here. Fairly recently, we took Noah here to Target. He had
Yeah,
never been to a Target, ladies
no,
and gentlemen. He'd never been to a Target.
took me to Barnes and Noble too. I'd never been there.
You've never been there either. I thought
No,
you'd been to Barnes.
uh-uh.
Oh.
If I did, it was when I was younger, and I barely
So when
remember.
he talks about being a recluse and sort of a introvert, he's not lying.
No. And my thing is like when I have a few days off in a row and I have to do something, I will plan everything for that one day because I'd rather just get everything out of the way and then the remainder of the days I can literally just stay home and not worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that way too to a point, but like I said, there's always a point for me where I have to feel like at one point I want to get out and do something, or there's something I'm looking for, or
Hmm.
whatever. But and I guess as far as friendship goes, that I don't know how conducive that is to maintaining good friendships if you're just locked away in a
Yeah.
house. Somebody goes, "Well, the hell with that guy."
Yeah, and I think that's happened in some cases. Like I'm not good at making plans and all that kind of stuff. So when your friends are people that go out and do stuff a lot, like you kind of fall off the wagon a little bit. And but
It's like, hey,
like
Noah, we're gonna go out and play crochet. We're gonna go do what is it? What is it? The game where you hit the little balls with the croquet.
I think
Yeah, we're gonna play croquet, or we're gonna go out and play some mini golf or whatever. And he's like, no, I'm staying
no,
home. And it's like
I got
after
movies
so
to
long, that
watch.
guy's gonna quit calling.
Yeah, and I think that's happened. And I've ran into my friends before out in public, and we've like started talking again and like everything was fine, but we don't hang out near as much as we used to. And like I said before, part of that was because we were in high school and you're kind of forced to be around those people. And
Right. And
now that you're older and you got school and work and all that kind of stuff, some things just kind of go on the back burner.
right. And I think some people sort of stay a certain way their entire life. So some people are very
Social.
social their entire life, and just from the time they're kids to the time they're gone, if they're an old person, they're that way. Other people kind of goes back and forth. I was very much an introvert as a kid, even though I had neighbor friends, and kids that I played with from school that would occasionally come over. I was very quiet and very shy. I didn't really come out of that. I was probably in my early 30s, and it was working where we work, or our day job is you're around a lot of people, and so I sort of that's probably when I came out of it. Some people. My younger brother is pretty low key, and he's maybe better than he used to be as a kid, but he's still pretty low key and keeps to himself, and
Hmm.
it just comes and goes. I think some people, like I said, some people change as they get older.
Hmm.
Um,
I think I get a lot from like how I am from my mom as well. Like she's a real big introvert and everything. And my dad's not. He likes to go out and do stuff but I'm a lot like my mom. So,
right, right.
and my sister, she's real outgoing and stuff. She's always out doing something with her friends, but she's still in high school, so there's
And like I
that.
said, I think that can change. Either way, it seems like I think it usually goes, and this is just observation on my part. It seems like usually people will start out shy, maybe come out of it. I don't know people who are like really outgoing and then sort of flip. I
Hmm.
mean, I know what you're saying with the high school thing and the school thing,
Yeah.
but you probably are always kind of low key and
Yeah, and that's how my like kind of friend group was in high school. Like we weren't like the real popular kids who did everything, but we weren't like the social outcasts. Like we were
right.
somewhere in the middle, like where we could.
And now you're veering towards social outcast.
Yeah, I think
As
I'm
you get
already. I think
older,
I'm already there.
as you get older, you're going towards the outcast.
Yeah, I should
Um,
probably move to Alaska in a cabin and have everything airdropped to me. So
I move to Hawaii and have something airdrop
no,
to
it's
you.
too hot. I like it
Let's
cold.
it's see that's another. We'll do an episode on our favorite seasons.
Hmm.
I hate winter, can't stand it.
You love autumn though, right?
Fall's a good season. Yeah, I like autumn. I like fall, whatever you want to call it. Really, honestly, from I'm good. I don't know what we just got off course here on seasons, but since we're on this, I like anywhere from about March to about December.
Hmm.
It's like late December, January, February that I can't stand. When it starts warming up in March and goes all the way through fall, that's But anyway, we'll save that whole topic of hatred of
Weather.
weather. We'll do a whole episode on weather.
Yeah.
That'll be a blast.
Yeah, that'll be real invigorating.
Exciting. People will just that'll be the one that you turn off. And
Mm.
um, how are we looking on time? Do you know?
We are at 28 minutes and 46 seconds right now.
Okay, so we probably are going to wrap this here soon. Any closing words on your thought? Like I said, these are just our observations. We're not telling anybody what's right or wrong, but
No, I just think if you are in a position that you don't have any friends, like kind of how like I was for a while, just try and come out of your shell a little bit and make at least one or two good friends that you can rely on and have some conversations with. But that's just my take.
yeah. And like I said, I think it's important that no matter what age you are or kind of where you're at in life, I think to have solid friends, even if it's just three or four, just good solid friends. Um, you don't because like I said, there's a time you may need those people. You may get into a really bad spot in life, and you just need to call somebody and say, "Hey, I need some help," or "I need to talk." And so
Hmm.
to have those people, that's it's pretty. You can't pay for that. I mean, it's a real blessing in life to have people like that you can fall back on.
Yeah, and sometimes like if there's something going on in your family too, like you might not want to talk about the problems with your family, like you might want to talk to somebody kind of from the outside. And
Right.
that's
Right.
another scenario where having a good friend is really important.
Right. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. That sounds about right time wise. We've hit on this first little maiden voyage episode. We're doing a kind of a short 30-minute run.
Yep.
Um, I think that's it from Studio 26.
Yep.
And
We'll see you soon, and
we'll
hopefully we have some more good topics coming to you guys.
we will. We'll definitely have some more good topics, and we'll see you down the road from Third Floor Theatrics and Studio 26.